Today I'm going to show you how I transfer my beer from my fermenter to my keg, my corny keg, and there's a very, very important thing that happens here that a lot of you guys are missing, and it's putting all flavors in your beer, and you probably don't even know it, but this is going to fix it. Two things have allowed me to brew incredibly better beer than I did when I first started out a couple of years ago. The first one is water chemistry, understanding what's in the water that I pull from my well and how it affects my beer and how to change that with different salts. I've went over that in quite a few brew videos, and I think that is just, it's so important to come out with great beer. And it doesn't matter whether you're using distilled water, well water, city water, whatever. It's all different, and you need to know what's in it and how it affects your beer and how to change it. The second thing is getting rid of oxygen. When I upgraded my equipment, my main intent was to be able to get rid of oxygen after fermentation. It's okay to have oxygen contact while you're fermenting and before you're fermenting. In fact, you want it before you're fermenting. But after fermentation is over, oxygen is it's a horrible enemy to your beer, to the flavor of your beer, to everything to do with your beer. And you really, really will benefit a lot by getting rid of it. And that's what this setup is about. I have my CO2 bottle, and it comes up to a tri-clamp here with a gauge so I can tell how much pressure is on the SS BrewTech fermenter. I think it's rated for 5 or 6 PSI. I don't normally go above 4 PSI. And so what that allows me to do is to introduce CO2 into the fermenter, and that's gonna push the beer out the bottom, which is where I have this other hose. And this one was a little bit complicated for me trying to put it together. I had to get from this tri-clamp setup to a keg adapter. And I'm not the happiest with that fitting arrangement. I'll show you that in a second. But it gets the job done for now, and I'm looking for a way to upgrade that. If you guys have any suggestions, put it down in the comments below. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn the CO2 on, and I'm gonna get this gauge up to about 3 to 4 PSI, and that's gonna start pushing the beer into the keg. And then I relieve the keg on the air vent every so often to help make sure that the beer can get into the keg freely. And that should eliminate almost all oxygen, which gives us a very crisp, clean, nice beer. My setup all starts right here where I have a tri-clamp hooked to the top of my fermenter. I bring that up with a little tube, put a T on it, and I have my gauge on the front side to let me know what my CO2 pressure is. I don't want to go over 4 PSI, and then a valve to control the airflow on the back. So the hose goes over to the CO2 tank. I'm taking the keg adapter on the out port of the keg so it'll go down into the bottom of the keg without stirring it up too much. So just your standard CO2 bottle with your, your regulator. Any kind will do. You just need CO2 gas and a regulator. All right, let's go ahead and open the gas so we can start transferring to the fermenter. And we'll adjust the pressure to get it just right. We'll open the valve. Just above 3. And watch.
Guys, I really want to encourage you to try to find a way to do pressurized transfer from your fermenter to your corny keg or whatever keg you're using. Try to adapt this to your setup. Your beers are going to be so much better. I really appreciate you guys sticking around for the whole video. I appreciate your support. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Share the video with your family and friends. And I can't wait to see you on the next video. You guys have a good week.